We've seen many images of joy lately. Lots of reunions of family, heartwarming images in the media. Pictures of families and friends reuniting after long separations, husbands and wives, mums and dads, grandparents and grandchildren. And after long months of disappointment, closed borders again, cancelled flights, finally together. The love is tangible, and there's an overwhelming sense of joy. Hugs all round and smiles and tears of joy. And I thought, there is a saying about holidays. The saying goes that the best part of the holiday is the anticipation. And there's even scientific research to support that. But in this case, anticipation certainly does focus us and sharpens our senses. But in this case, the joy is in the long-awaited reunion, the object of our anticipation. Enjoying spending time with the people that we love. Those Jewish shepherds in today's story, while lowly in status, would have been well aware of the prophecies about a coming Messiah. The hope that their people had looked forward to for centuries.
You are only a small village among all people of Judah, yet a ruler of Israel, whose origins are in the distant past, will come from you on my behalf. The people of Israel will be abandoned to their enemies until the woman in labour gives birth. Then at last his fellow countrymen will return from exile to their own land, and he will stand to lead his flock with the Lord's strength, in majesty of the name of the Lord his God. Then his people will live undisturbed, for he will be highly honoured around the world, and he will be source of peace. I think it's off now,
Isaiah chapter 9, verse 2-3. The people walking in the darkness have seen great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, and a light has dawned. You have enlarged the nation and increased their joy. They rejoice before you as people rejoice at the harvest. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace.
They had been waiting an awfully long time, centuries. Were these writings really true? Were they really worth putting their hope in? Was the anticipation just reduced to crossing their fingers? Then, after a regular routine day, one ordinary evening, wham! The night sky explodes with light. The shepherds were told in no uncertain terms, and they got the message, the full immersive life experience. In fact, if I wasn't sure about this whole God thing, and if I wasn't sure that Jesus really is who he said he is, and I wasn't sure about taking that step and actually putting my trust in him, I'd really rather like this kind of message. There's no second guessing, there's no ambiguity, and there's even people there to confirm my experience. And understandably, they were terrified, but the angel reassured them and said, "Don't be afraid. I bring you good news of great joy." We had that read to us. The heavenly hosts of angels were joyful and exuberant the shepherds were caught up in this incredible moment. I wonder how long it took for one of them to sort of pick their jaw up and say, okay, well, let's go see what's happened. And they found him, a baby, where the angel had said, in Bethlehem, in a stable, in a manger, just as they'd been told. And their hearts were probably having some out-of-body experience, or at least it felt that way. They'd been told for so long that Christ, their Messiah, was going to come. Somehow God was going to intervene in this messy world, in their messy world. The world that, while it has many moments of happiness and joy, is shot through with disappointment and hurt and prejudice and injustice and greed and violence and poverty, both material and spiritual. But there he was. They'd found him. Imagine being there, caught up in this euphoria, finally seeing the promised one. The rest of your life was going to be different. The rest of history was going to be different. And then they headed home, but their hearts would have been forever changed. They went back to their flocks, glorifying and praising God. They told everyone. They didn't care about their social status. They didn't care that, although people were astonished and amazed, they were probably more astonished and amazed that the shepherds were saying these things. Not a few of them would probably have been quite sceptical or tell them that they were, a little crazy or not educated enough to know these things. But the shepherds were overcome with joy at the news that they couldn't keep in. They were shepherds, and they had come to see the Good Shepherd, the one that would grow up and call himself the Good Shepherd. As usual, God's worldviews are upside down in terms of our values. They're flipped. Shepherding, in God's worldview, was a responsible and honourable role, as opposed to these shepherds being low and seen as being unclean in their culture. It was about caring and love and peace and joy. Remember the Good Shepherd who came back with his lost sheep on his shoulders, joyful and throwing a party for everybody to celebrate. And so often we want the peace, we want the joy without the peace when it suits. You say, I want peace. But when it suits, we will even want it without the love. We want joy while we hold a grudge and refuse to forgive. While we're self-centred and spend our time seeking after other things that we think might satisfy us, at least for a while. But God says it doesn't work that way. You have to see Jesus. You have to really see me. See who I really am and get to know me. Vulnerable, born in a manger. Humble, compassionate as he grew up. The Good Shepherd who grew up to lay down his life for his sheep. In fact, the whole world. He laid down his life even for those who he knew would never come to him, that they would reject him to their dying day. What are you looking for? We all want hope and peace and love and joy in our lives. In fact, more than experience them, we want them to be part of our very being. Otherwise, we're constantly trying to find them and to create experiences where we can at least get a taste of the real thing. And in his book, Surprised by Joy, C.S. Lewis, also the author of the Chronicles of Narnia and, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe and so forth, when describing his journey toward God, said he didn't realise it, but he was approaching the source from which those arrows of joy had been shot ever since childhood. Those times, like us, when he experiences that pang of joy. And we experience it, the sheer delight of walking through a forest, listening to particular music, kicking the winning goal, diving into an ocean, running, although I'm not too sure I understand that one. Time with someone you love, holding a newborn. These feelings surpass just pleasure and contentment. They bubble up inside. But we can't grasp joy. As soon as we think we have it, it slips out of our grasp. We only experience it when our attention is on the one that we love, the object of our love. Jesus is the one in whom we find complete joy. He said, I have loved you even as the Father has loved me. Remain in my love. When you obey me, you remain in my love, just as I obey my Father and remain in his love. I have told you these things so that you will be filled with my joy. Yes, your joy will overflow. The shepherds would go back to their everyday routine lives with the problems and the battles that they would face. But having seen Jesus, things would seem so different. We all have our battles and problems and the things we have to face in life. Whether it's, Mum, can we go to Macca's? No. Can't I have a Happy Meal? No, not today. No. Oh, but... Or right through all of our problems. Our team loses. Or it's actually, you should have got that goal. Or it's a friendship breakdown. Whatever it might be. Or a tragedy. We've had some of that this week. There's a huge spectrum, but I can't think what some people have to go through. But these things Jesus knew would happen. And he came to experience those things for us. So we all have our battles to fight and our problems to face. But isn't it better to face them with him? With Jesus, things can be different. In the Psalms, it reads, God tested me, he pushed me hard. And yet the writer is full of thanksgiving and praise and says, give thanks to the Lord, for this is the day he made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Or James in the New Testament writes, when troubles come your way, consider it an opportunity of great joy. You will grow and become complete. Now I have something over here. I don't want to trivialise our problems and so forth, but I really do need a very brave volunteer. This is just a demonstration, to bring it into concrete terms. And I know object lessons have their limitations, but this is just to demonstrate this thought. I know, I do need a volunteer. I can see a lad over there who looks a brave lad. No. Yes, he's not even looking. I need a volunteer that's brave, that can hold a balloon and are not frightened of it popping. Yes, here he comes. He's still dressed as a shepherd. So we know he's brave and fearless. Okay. Hang on. I need some. Okay, so we have two balloons here. Look very similar, don't they? Both smiley, lovely balloons. Okay. This is, yes, that one will just pop in there. And this one is going to experience great stress, some problems in life. You might like to just hold it out here this way so everyone can see it. Just got to get the matches out. Now, if you have any problems with bursting balloons, please just pop your fingers in your ears. And parents, you do that. I mean, help your children to do that if that's the case, all right? And this balloon, this person, is experiencing great problems and there's normal stresses in our life. So we'll find out. They're worried about all the things around them. Their happiness and joy depends on what happens to them, their circumstances. When they're disappointed or when they're hurt or someone hurts their feelings, that's what the joy depends on. And so when these hard times come, things don't go that well, do they? Would you like to pick up our other one? I don't know why you're clapping. That was really not very clever at all. Balloon. This one has the joy inside. The water representing God's Spirit inside. It's not concerned, it is concerned about all the things around, but those things don't determine what they have inside. Turn the smiley face around though. Thanks, Gideon. Yeah, excellent. You ready? Trust me? You sure you trust me? Hold it up. Hold it up. Hold it up. Okay. It's working. Of course it works. Oh. Okay. So you can pop it back in there. We won't. Thank you, Gideon. That was brilliant. You trusted me. So I'm at the airport now, again, and I see the people start to emerge from the air bridge and into the arrivals, and I am so touched by the love that I see all around me. I'm really happy for these grandparents and the kids, and maybe I'm with a friend who's come to see their mum or their dad. Wow, it's wonderful to see them so joyful. But you know, it's not the same. It's not the same as having the relationship with that person. The difference is between knowing about someone and being actually in their family. We are created with a desire to experience all these things, hope and peace and joy, as part of what makes us human. And God wants you to have his joy, to give you his Spirit as you put your trust in him. Come to him like the shepherds did. Tell Jesus, the Good Shepherd, that you want to follow him and be filled to overflowing with his joy.